Alright, welcome back everybody to Operation Eclipse. This is the British Commonwealth and France turn 14. One bit of housekeeping is that the French sub that survived round 1 of this combat had to submerge, which means he's still there and doesn't get killed, but it also means that the sub target select against the Japanese heavy cruiser never happened, so that heavy cruiser is still in the sea zone. And I think that's got it all. That's the only changes as far as housekeeping goes, so we can hop into the British turn. We have 3 tech rolls. We're going to be doing improved factories, improved construction, and heavy strat bombers. It's going to be a miss on improved factories, a hit on improved construction, and a miss on heavy strat bombers. That'll take us to our buys. So Anzac is going to be leasing the Americans a destroyer and saving $2. FEC is going to be spending their full bank on a Gurkha and a militia. And then Great Britain is going to be spending 38 of its $40, 20 on fighters, 3 on an airborne, 3 on a Lend-Lease infantry to get to 26. Another 6 here from a militia and 2 railroads to get to 32, and then starting construction on 2 minor shipyards to get us to 38. So I'll leave us with 2 in the bank as GB. Combat moves for Great Britain. We're going to be taking our strat bomber with our airborne, and we're going to be airborne assaulting Alsace-Lorraine and liberating that for the French. Then our strat bomber is going back to London. And there are no units here for the fighters to scramble into, so that's just drop in. That's the only combat move that we have going on up here. Well, yeah, it's the only combat move we have going on up there. Here, the entirety of this, so we're going to rejoin this to the first fleet because all of it is going into I-4, I think it is, or I-5, whichever of the two, in order to attack the Japanese destroyer there. And then we're actually going to do a screening force, and then the rest of the fleet's going to continue on to I-7. And the screening force is going to consist of the submarine and the fighter, as well as the fighter from Cape Town. It's going to go 1, 2, 3. So that'll be the forces that we have here. Let me double think about this actually. Or no, there is no port here. This transport can only move 2 spaces. And there's no 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, okay. Yeah, that'll be the screening force there. And the rest of the fleet, assuming that this is successful, will go on to attack the Japanese ships in I-7. The 32nd is going to go into Bengal and attack the Japanese infantry there. The coastal sub that we have in P whatever this is, 41, is going to raid here. Go ahead and roll that. Although, he just got it started. He didn't complete it. Okay, yep, we'll go ahead and roll that. So our coastal sub is at +1. It's going to be in red. And that's going to be no damage. I think that's got it for combat moves. Because we don't have... We're not going to attack Italy this turn. We'll save it for later, I guess. This seaplane doesn't have anybody you can go after. Yeah, we'll just keep the seaplane. We're actually... Yeah, we'll keep the seaplane where it is. I think we are going to spend our last $2 instead of saving it, though, and we're going to do a militia upgrade. So that will clear the bank out for GB. Alright, so yeah, I think that's got everything. So we can just go ahead and do these. I think the only rolling we have is here. So let's see. Need some D12s. So we have our we'll have our submarine be in red, our 2 fighters will be in teal, and then the Japanese destroyer will be in green. So 3 6s and then a 4. Alright, so everything misses, so we'll go to round 2. And one of our fighter hits and the destroyer misses. So we'll have that be destroyed, and then we'll go into okay, yeah, I did leave the transports behind. Good. And then we'll go into this one. So we have, for us, we have 3 battleships at 3, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 heavy cruisers. So we'll have 3 battleships at 8 in red, battle cruiser in teal, and then how many heavy cruisers did I say? 4 heavy cruisers. So we'll do 4 heavy cruisers in green, and hope to get all of our hits from that, just to save time. And that's going to be our battleships all got the hits, and then we got some more here. So that's going to be all the Japanese ships destroyed, and then they have a 2 4s and a 6 to fire back at us. So we'll use 2 4s and the 6. Two 4s and a 6, so that's going to be 2 hits they deal to us, which is going to be 2 hits that we take on our battleships. So, where's the damaged battleship marker? Damaged hull. Damaged hull. I know there's one somewhere. Somewhere there is one. Up here. Damaged rail. Damaged hull. There we go. Alright. So we will move this over here, since this is where these guys are at now. And then 2 of our battleships are damaged. Right, and then the FEC fights in Bengal. We have 9, I think it might, yeah, 9 Gurkhas out of 3 against 1 infantry out of 4. So 9 threes. It's going to be a hit, and then 1 4, and that's going to be a miss. So we will liberate Bengal, and I think that does it for our combat moves. So we'll move into non-combats. Our 2 fighters that screened are going to land on the light carriers in I-7. In Africa, we're going to rail an infantry from Cape Town into Rhodesia, and we're going to stick an infantry from Tanganyika into Sudan, and an infantry from Tanganyika into Rhodesia. We're going to have our transport in M8 pick up the 2, pick up an infantry from Tobruk, infantry from Lower Egypt, and go 1, 2, 3. Then it will be, the infantry will just go ahead and drop off on the Maldive Islands, and the transport will be with the fleet. And then our other transport is going to pick up an infantry from Lower Egypt, an infantry from Eritrea, and it's going to do the same thing. Come over, drop these off into the Maldive Islands, and this will import, or not import, but it will be with the fleet. And then our third transport is just going to come along for the ride, and then it'll be here as well. Let's see. I'm actually going to stick the third transport import in Aden. For up here, I think everything is just going to stay the way it is. The exception that we're going to move all these ships into A22 instead of them being in A23. I could put some infantry here. 6, 7. Don't know if that's really worth it though. I think we'll just keep everything like it is. So I think that's got that. Our transport plane is going to fly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 into South Australia. Our airborne is going to rail into South Australia. Our FEC infantry in Phnom Penh is going to move over into Burma. And I think that has got all of the British non-combat moves completed, so we can place units. So these will stay over here, but we are starting construction in those in Aden. And then the railroad is going for Africa. Well, I didn't think that would delete the whole thing. Okay. Railroad. So we're going to build a railroad from Sudan into Tanganyika on that border, and then we're building a railroad on the border of Tanganyika into Rhodesia. That does give us whatever this thing down here is, African colonialism. which does let us place an airbase into any land zone that we control in Africa, and we're just going to go ahead and place it in Lower Egypt. And then we have 2 fighters in airborne. 1 fighter is going to be built into Cape Town. The other fighter in airborne are being built in London. And then our militia and militia upgrade. The militia is going to Lower Egypt. Militia upgrade is going to Gibraltar. The Anzac Lend-Lease, the destroyer, goes to San Francisco from the shipyard, traveling up coast to San Francisco. The Gurkha and militia go into Burma. The Lend-Lease infantry goes to Normandy. And then we will collect money. So Great Britain will collect 35, FEC will collect 5, and Anzac will collect 5. So that'll be the banks for them. That'll take us to the Free France turn, or not Free France, we are regular France. So France has $14, going to be spending all of it. Going to be buying 2 foreign legions and 3 militia. France does have some combat moves, so we're going to be taking all 3 of our guys in Normandy into Aquitaine. What? Okay, he went flying. So that's a walk-in, liberating that. And we are going to our transport that is in I-5 is going to go 1, 2, 3 into I-6. It's going to pick up the infantry from southern Iraq, and it's going to be amphibiously assaulting Maharashtra. And our French fighter is going to fly 1, 2, 3, 4 and join in that attack. And thanks to the new airbase, Egypt, it will have its remaining movement to land into Delhi. And then our French sub is going to stay in the sea zone as added protection in case Japan tries to attack our fleet any. And I think that's it for combat movements. We do have a French fighter up here. There's nothing really for it to do, so it's going to stay there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it's going to stay in London, so we can just do this combat. So we have a 2 and a 6 against the 2. So we'll have R2 in red and R6 in green, and then the Japanese 2 in teal. So our fighter hits and the Japanese militia misses. So France will liberate Maharashtra. Their fighter is going to land in Delhi, and their transport is going to go into port in Maharashtra. Other non-combat moves are Foreign Legion in Syria is going to rail down to Lower Egypt. This guy's going to stay in Iraq. I think that's actually it for the non-combat moves for France, except our Foreign Legion in Nam Tonkin is going to walk over, and it's going to be in Burma. So with that, we will place our French buys. We're placing 1 Foreign Legion into Nam Tonkin. 1 Foreign Legion into Syria. I'm going to place 3 militia into Alsace-Lorraine. And then we get another free Foreign Legion. And I think we're actually going to come over and let's see, what are the placement rules for that? Going the wrong way. This is Free France. France. World power. Placed in a French possessed land zone with a point value. So it can be in any of these. We are going to stick that into northern Iraq. So France will collect 14 plus 1 for Suez, so France will collect $15 and end their turn. Fighter landed there, so I think that's going to be it for this, and we will pass it over to the Electron for Italy, turn 14.